Well. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are live for the Chaotic Syndicate Reality Check podcast, we got a special guest coming in the building today that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him an introduction anyway. He is the man of JTV, one of the founders of JTV, and I feel like this interview was long overdue and something needed for the car community to understand and realize that we got to be more united as a whole. We got to get past all the drama, all of the bullshit that's going on in this here community, all the toxic narrative people that's been a thorn in EFED, and I mean, all that has to change. Yep. So, in many aspects of this whole outlook here, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta do better for our shows, and we have to do better for the community. I mean, it's more things that we gotta endure in the long run. You feel me? But I just want to get this intro out the way because in this way, people have to understand what this whole segment that I'm doing with Kevin Impact is going to transpire here. I mean, we got a lot of negativity. We got a lot of things going on in this community that doesn't seem to add up. And I'm telling you, it has to start with us making the change. It has to start with us making the change. And that change automatically comes with us bringing the right people in. Straight facts. I'm not sugarcoating it, no chasing, no nothing. I'm not saying no names. I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just putting the word out there. The change starts with us. And with that being said, it's like I feel like there's a lot of things in this community that can be an inspiration to me, if anything. And that same inspiration is how I got into the EPED industry in the first place. It's the same thing of how many of us came into the EPED industry, us watching wrestling, us pretty much having a structured foundation of what we wanted our companies to be, what was our guideline, how much fun did we want to make it. I mean, it's a lot of things that can be said, but at the same time, it's doing them. And that process comes with a lot of intrigue and a lot of insight, you know? So, in more ways than one, ladies and gentlemen, we got to do this for the sake of our shows in general. We can't do this alone without a team of people that's going to be there inspiring us and motivating us to be 3 steps ahead of the next person. Make no mistake about it. I love doing this e-fetting since I started in 2K23. And evidently, look at me now. I've gotten around some intriguing people in this e-fed industry. Shout out to CJ Mundo. Shout out to Ricky Armstrong. I mean, hell, even the fact of me being around Devin Browski and Dixie Browski. Like, where would I have been if my motivation and vision hasn't been seen by these individuals? At the same time, I mean, we got to elevate ourselves to another level. And how do we elevate ourselves to another level without distraction? That remains to be seen by most of us. But as long as I have a good structure of friends that I have in this call community, especially my guest coming too, Kevin Impact, I wouldn't be where I am. It's the love of wrestling that's keeping me going. And I'm not going to hold you with what keeps you going. But at the same time, we all value and have to be generated for what we thrive for. I mean, even though I get my creative slump sometimes, but sometimes that creative slump could lead to something better. And that's something I could say, like, we all get that creative block. And I know we all do, so yeah, it comes with the territory. At the same time, where would I be if I didn't meet the people in this EFED industry? I probably would be sitting on the sideline somewhere, not elevating my creative process. That ass. But I did get around some interesting people. There's some ladies here that I can say outside of the ones I've mentioned. Hell, my good friend in ERPW, Miles Logan, is another inspirational piece that motivated me to stay structured in this EFED industry. But at the same time, there's days that I feel like this industry could be brutal, yet look at me now. I've built myself. I've molded everything. Hell, there's things I'm going through right now that I wish would end. At the same time, I fight with y'all, not against y'all. There's the big difference. I'd rather fight for something instead of me going down that road. But in most cases, you can't sit there and have yourself feeling down fan industry. Drama comes with the territory. But how we get past it is the whole another ball game. It's a whole another ball game. But I'm glad I'm here with the people I'm here with. That's the beautiful part about this. I am here with the people that I cherish with this the most. I mean, CJ Mundo is another prime example of he brought my characters to a whole different plateau. The vision he's seen in my characters was kind of not there at first, but then I'm like, it was there when it needed to be. But over time, I think I gotten better in this EFAN industry. I think I have. I've literally gotten wiser, more knowledgeable with things, being able to stay in check sometimes. But that happens to the best of us. But yeah, it's not too late for up and comers to find a home. It's never too late to find a home. But with that being said, finding a home is the number one thing. It's getting to know your Fed owner. That's the other part. Some of these Fed owners nowadays, I don't know what to tell y'all. Some of them are strict. Some of them are harsh. Some of them just don't know what the heck they're doing. But it's up to us to mentor them and bring them to a better understanding. I can't sit here and speak for everybody else, but I know for a fact I'm doing the best I could for me. And if that means sacrificing something to better the show, then I'll do it. Because that older side of me kind of was still in a learning curve in this EFED industry. It was in the learning curve. It was more oh, here. I was more hungry to get championships. See, see, I wasn't feeling the landscape, if I could say that. Sometimes you got to test the waters and see what the landscape brings to you. But that's neither here or there. But we all have our ups and downs. It's what we do to get through them. But we're waiting on our guests to show up, so, bear with me here. I mean, this is going to be a good episode. I can tell y'all that right now because we got a little reality check we want to bring to a lot of these EFED owners. We want to bring a better understanding to these EFED owners. Because, I mean, if y'all want to be on the next episode, get in touch with me. Hit my inbox up if you're a friend of mine. We'll set up a date and make it happen. Because I know a lot of people have a lot of insight and knowledge they want to bring to the Reality Check podcast. And I'm willing to make that happen for those that want to put their insight out there. But how is everybody's Saturday going right now? Don't there in y'all area, but yeah. Y'all here probably throwing down the barbecue grill, cooking up, do y'all thing. You know, it's all positive, it's all love, but at the end of the day, it's informative for y'all to know these things. It's informative for y'all to know these things. And these things are vital in this EFED industry. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten most of the information I wouldn't have gotten if it wasn't for my guests coming into play and everybody that's in the industry. But at the same time, I value it and I'm cherishing every moment of it. But yeah, waiting for more people to show up because we got 0 viewers in play. At the same time, waiting for people to show up that know the channel. But let me know y'all thoughts below. What y'all think this e-fed industry needs as a whole? What do you feel would be the best insight you can give these up and coming e-fed owners? I mean, let's be honest here, because these e-fed owners need it, or these veterans need an insight that may change the landscape. At the same time, I feel like the e-fed industry needs a little bit more guidance as far as how they structure their rules and regulations. Some people are so strict nowadays, it's just, what do you do with the overall landscape? You know? What do you do with this e-fed industry that you've built without no guidance or leadership to grow the show? Like, this is where we got to ask the age-old question. What do we do when we are back into these little scenarios? How do you handle your everyday operation, and how do you deal with the talent that's doing these things? Something that's needed to know. But at the same time, let's not sit here and be in this predicament. Yep. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, what do you value more in this e-fed industry? Do you value the show? Do you value the people you met? Or do you value the way that the show is giving you more of a freedom and luxury of being out here? You know? Good looking there, CJ, on that one. I mean, I'm just up here kind of speaking my mind on a few things and getting in stride with this whole with how I feel about certain questions I want fans to answer. But at the same time, CJ, there are owners out here that needs to value this information today. And this is why I'm doing this. Don't let anything steer you away from the outlook, is what people tell me. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. But in return, what do you value from the people that's giving you all this information and leadership and knowledge? Do some people that I see, they take it with a grain of salt. Some people, they don't value it as a whole. But here we are, right here, ladies and gentlemen. The man has arrived. Having impact is in the building.
He is indeed. Sorry it took me some time.
No
Wasn't
problem,
sure
no
what we
problem,
was gonna do
man. I
this thing,
mean,
but I made it. I'm ready to have fun with you, man. We're
yeah,
gonna
I
do this
mean, at
thing.
the end of the day, man, we here. We about to drop all this knowledge on these fools out here with this reality check podcast.
Right.
And at the same time, man, this is the first thing on my mind that I wanted to ask you. What was your biggest start when you built your eFed as a whole, man?
Okay. I'm putting together sharing this show also while we're live. While
No
they get
problem.
some
No
more
problem.
eyes on here, we're gonna all you guys that tune in, make sure you smash that like button. I see CJ Mondo in the comments,
Yep.
a few other
Smash the
people.
like button, comment,
I'm trying
subscribe.
to get everybody
Also, go
tagged up.
subscribe to JTV channel.
Thank you, sir. But subscribe to this channel for sure. I'm gonna tell my peoples um try to get some more eyes in here first before I know we've been on the air for 20 minutes now, but definitely want
Yeah,
to fix
yeah,
this
we've
up
been on
before
for a minute, and I've just been, vibing, doing my little thing till you showed up, see, Kevin, Mr.
all right.
Impact.
So all I'm
You
gonna
know,
do is I just want to make sure that we get this posted on the JTV page on Facebook, so people worldwide know that we on here. Just want to do that real quick, and as I'm
no
doing that,
problem, man.
I'm gonna take
It,
time
it's
to.
all it's
I
all
want to.
united front, man. That's what we got to do nowadays in this e-fed industry.
That's how it's got to be. But I want to. You use tags, hashtags.
I do sometimes, but I mean, when I do go post them up, when I do go repost the replays up, when I share the links out, I try to get in as much as possible to what was
Oh,
connected to the show.
okay, the tags are important. So I'm gonna say KWF for you. Okay, I'm also hashtag
Yep,
DJ Chaotic because that's your brand, DJ
yep.
Chaotic. Oh, DJ Chaotic is already a thing. I see it. Okay, so just gonna put this out there.
That's a good question, CJ. That's a very good question.
We're gonna answer that question for sure, and we're also gonna. I'm gonna answer DJ Chaotic's question that he had. If you could just ask me one more time, I'll be happy to answer that question.
So the question I said was, what was your biggest inspiration for being an e-fed?
Okay, so um, for me, I never came into the CAW world with the mentality of EFED. I knew about EFED for many years now, but it just wasn't my thing. I came in with a fresh mind, wanting to do something different. So I came up with the pro wrestling circuit, and
Gotcha.
the pro wrestling circuit, JTV exists within that. You know what I mean? And us being a call pro wrestling show, we didn't really consider ourselves an EFED. We consider ourselves just a call pro wrestling show because we were PvP. We didn't start as PvP. We actually started as an EFED. We really did because it was simulated for a couple years. We didn't start doing PvP, I think, until like I think it was like 2K17 or something like that. So we
Wow,
we was
that
going,
we going back a few games.
we're going back. We're going back, and I go back to the War Zone and No Mercy and WCW and the
I feel
ECW and
you.
all that. So I go back. So when I came into the game, I came in with that mentality that just I wanted to be different. No E-Fed, nothing like that. Although I love and respect E-Fed, we have to because
Right.
that's our genre. So coming into this stuff, some of the stuff that kind of led me on to it was really my brother who passed away. My brother Pete, God rest his soul. Uh,
My
it-
condolences to you on that one.
yes, sir. He inspired me. He used to do his storylines on his games and stuff like that back in the day. And he goes back to Super Nintendo. When I was
Wow.
coming up. So he saw
Gold mine of a
WWF.
system.
Yeah, he saw WWF Raw. He saw WWF Royal Rumble and WrestleFest and all that. And I started with WrestleFest in the arcade world. So all that kind of led
WrestleFest was
me.
definitely a banger of a game.
Yeah, all of that really inspired me as time would go on through the video games, and then eventually I got to a point where it was like I'm gonna do my own thing, and I started giving it a shot. And before JTV Wrestling, it was really a WWF. It was a Attitude Era show because you had WCW shows I did, and WWF and WCW, WWF, and ECW, and that was kind of it
Gotcha.
for a while. To answer that question, that's
That
what
that
started.
that's a that was a pretty interesting thing there because I mean you had a nice little run from previous games and you kind of built that momentum from there. But at the
Absolutely.
same time, man, it's always good to have a inspiration and a dream for something to start you off.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
At the same time, man, there is a lot of things that has been going on lately in this community. I mean, I just wanted to get your thoughts with what would be the one thing you would tell these owners and people that's coming in the call to their do's and don'ts of not what not to do with this e-fed industry.
Well, I've been on here before, and like my answer is really not going to change much from the last time I was around,
Right.
or on CJ's podcast also. But I mean, it's you know when you're a e-fed owner, a call show owner, a promoter in call, you have a responsibility not just to the talent on your roster, but also to your fan base. And the responsibility is to be professional first and foremost. Someone was throwing around that word in one of the chats not too long ago, and I've always been professional since day one. At least I tried to be. You know what I mean? I don't claim to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have my times when I come out of alignment a little bit, and I'm unprofessional. Of course, absolutely. Everybody is. But you gotta hold being professional to the highest regard. That's for damn sure. And you have to protect the integrity of your brand, in my opinion, because if you want to be an owner, you have to take responsibility for everything that goes on with your promotion. You know what I mean? You
Facts.
have
All
so
facts.
so so you have to show respect to your roster. Your job as the owner is to try to build everybody as you can. Right now, we watch wrestling on television. TKO, I'm gonna try to watch my language on here, but TKO doesn't care about its talent. You know what I mean? They act
Big
like they
facts.
care. You know what I mean? But that they undermine a lot of people's talent, and they play favorites. You know what I mean? They shove Seth Rollins down your throat a million times over, and Charlotte Flair and all this other stuff because they're best buddies in the office. You know what I'm saying? They never want to take a chance with somebody like Nakamura and build him as the face of the company or something like that. They just won't do that. You'll never see that because that's
That
just
is
how
a
they are.
big fact, and I've seen it throughout my
Yeah,
time watching wrestling. I mean, we're both avid wrestling watchers, but
yeah.
at the same time, we know who they need to push, and they don't seem to push these people at all.
Right. So it's your job as a call owner, a show promoter, a booker, if you will, to be responsible to try to get everybody over as much as you can. You shouldn't limit yourself to favorites. You know what I mean? I think that of course there's a lot of this, I know this, a lot of people know that there's a lot of call owners who play favorites and stuff like that. And
Oh
that's
yeah,
toxicity. That's toxicity. That's dangerous in the call community because
it leads
you
to a
know,
lot more things than just the toxicity, which I'm gonna
right.
get into that topic on the next question I'm saying here
Yeah.
is how do you deal with the drama, the negativity, these individuals that you feel, in your best opinion, was a good piece for the roster, but then ultimately showed their true colors?
I mean, I try to work my relationship with people that I work with and call a few times. I don't just go, oh, this person messed up one time, they're gone. I like to try a few times, and there's times when things don't work out. Maybe we take a break for a few years and we talk again, and maybe things work out. I reconnected with one of my guys,
Right.
Draskell, guy by the name of Draskell, former JTV world champion. We had a falling out. I think it was, I mean, it was like 2019 or something like that, and we just reconnected this year, which is a beautiful thing. It's been years. So we're not working together in JTV or nothing like that, but he's in the community. He's hanging out with us. We're gaming. And I think that that's the way to go. I think that it's very clear that, well, in my case, as you asked me, when I try with the person, what I'm saying, in the case of let's just pick Ray. I don't want to pick on Ray, but let's just
Right,
let's
right,
just let's
right.
just say Ray. In the case of Ray, I've given Ray about three chances or more, and he kind of messed that up, and different reasons, and I just decided our friendship is over, and I don't want to work with this person ever again because it's not. He's not someone who can fix the situation. He just continues to mess it up, and And I can't work with people like that. I can't work with somebody that's just going to be ignorant and biased, you know what I mean, and make excuses to justify their bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to justify my bullshit. I'm going to call shit out. And that's the reason why I tend to have issues with people and people want to try to throw different words at me, like controlling and manipulative and all this other stuff. No, it's not that I'm controlling and manipulative. It's just that you don't want to face the truth. You want to
And
push your,
here's the thing about it,
you know,
that's the kicker part to this.
yeah,
And I like what you're saying here, and I wholeheartedly agree with it 110%. But also, the fact of the matter is,
uh,
some people are so blinded to words that they don't want to see everything that is outright truthful in their own aspect.
right.
You can see something for these people that would be 10 times better if you just followed in suit and just listen to the strategy, but some people don't listen to the strategy.
I agree. Yeah,
And that same structure, like I said, there has to have structure. Structure leads to everything else in the long run.
yeah, I agree.
And like this is why I'm like, I don't see why some of these e-feds are not thriving like they should be, nor being that one way piece that we all needed to be. No wonder why there's not too many Fed owners that's coming together to unite as one common goal. And that's the crazy thing that I'm seeing now. Everybody's divided in this e-fed industry, Kevin.
I don't, I don't, I don't think
I don't think
everybody's
everybody's
divided.
divided.
I think
I think
that,
that
I think
I think
cause
cause divided
because we
because
can't
we
work
can't work
together.
together.
Not everybody can work
Agreed.
together, and it's something that is by design. It's not. There's nothing we can do about it. We can't fix that problem. That's a problem that's going to exist because it exists in the world. People can't get along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, too many egos and call as is. Um, we can't come together. It's not going to happen because there's too many egos and people play different agendas, different roles. You know, what I mean, we seen that. We know that. You know, what I mean,
I
but,
feel you
but,
on
but,
that
there,
one. It's
but
like,
there,
and
there can
also,
be before you get to your point, there can be a environment in which you can have multiple companies that come together. In the case of what we're trying to do with the Call United group, in which I'm in there, you're in there, Daniel's in there from WWU, CJ Mondo's in there. You know, I think
mhm.
JMR is still. I think he's back in there now. And everybody that we work with that's in that group. That's for a better call. That's for the dream of what we dream about. That what if everybody came together? That's Call United. That's our dream in there. Because in real life, in reality, you can't get that. Why are we in Call? Because a lot of people can't be a professional wrestler in real life. You know what I mean? They don't have the body, they don't have the health for it. You know what I'm saying? They're too old or
Right.
whatever. So we fantasize when we're in Call. It's fantasy. It's the same with that mindset of all communities coming together. It's a fantasy. It's in your imagination. You know what I mean? We work to show love to each other. That's why I'm here on this channel right now. You know what I mean? That's why I invite you guys to JTV and all this stuff. You was on my podcast. I'm here
Yep.
visiting you, and I go on CJ Mondo's and I show love because CJ Mondo showed me love. You showed me love. You know what I'm
And
saying?
here's the thing about it. That's the kicker part to this. That I'm gonna just say this as a whole right now for everybody who's listening. United we stand, divided we fall.
I agree.
And that's one thing I'm telling this whole outlook right now. We need to be more united than divided. Because I feel like if anybody, the slightest little thing can throw off the balance of what we built. As you said, Kevin Impact, we are the voice of cause for a reason.
Yeah.
Stand by
But
it.
but also with what you're saying, we also have to be more open-minded and understanding as well. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that 110%.
Not every situation is repairable or fixable. We have to be respectful and considerate and thoughtful of the fact that we might not be able to fix every issue. And there's some people that it doesn't matter how seemingly they change or whatever, that you give them another chance and work with them again and stuff like that. That doesn't work that way every time. That could work for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. There's some people
I,
who could
I agree
convince
with
you.
that 100%
You know what I mean?
because we can't mend what was done in the past, but we can try to at least get through some of these things over time.
It's like the relationship, male and female or whatever relationship you're in, even whether straight or not. You know what I mean? People sometimes will have issues in that relationship. They fight, things happen, and then the next thing you know, they break up, and then the next thing you know, they're back together. What happened? And people willing to take a chance thinking that the person changed, and they keep doing the same thing to you over and over and over again. That is a toxic relationship, and it's a toxic mentality to think that every situation could be fixed. It can't. There's some people you cannot just make peace with. Even if you get along, you can't get along with them again to where you guys could be what you used to be.
It
It
can't
doesn't
be
work.
like it used to be when y'all first met.
Right. And the more a lot of that abuse happens, when they abuse their relationship with you, it changes, man. It changes the relationship that y'all had. It affects it. You know what I mean? So you got to
It's
be
like
open minded.
it's like you said. It's like how people say it's a virus that just infects you, affects that person.
It's definitely a virus. It's a virus that exists hidden in that relationship, and it eats away at you. And people become so almost immune to it that they accept it. You know what I'm saying? There's people in call who accept shit. They accept that someone is toxic and someone is this and someone's that, but they want to be their friends so badly that they're willing to sacrifice almost anything to be involved with that person again. And you can't do that. You can't do that. There's a bunch of people in call that I would want to make peace with and be friends again. But if I do that, I'm being toxic. I'm being negative by doing that. I'm being a horrible person because I'm hurting my mental well-being, and that affects people around me. The people that I bring to JTV affects people around me. It affects me as well. So why would I do that? You see what I'm saying?
Agreed, agreed. And it's one of them things where, like I say this to myself mostly every time. It takes you to build that foundation to how you want to be in life.
Right.
It starts with you because it
Absolutely.
can't be nobody else. It has to start with you first to make that structure feel more valid to how you want to be, who you want to have around you.
Yeah.
It that
Absolutely.
that attraction kind of goes in hand with how you carry yourself.
Yeah. And if you're not mentally well, you shouldn't be in call. If you're mentally ill, if you're unstable, if you have fucking issues, if you know you're not doing the right things, get out of call. Don't be an EFED owner. Don't be a PvP guy. Don't be a simulation guy. Don't be in any community at all. Don't be on the internet, period. If you know you need help, and if you need help, go get that fucking help. See a psychiatrist, talk to somebody, talk to your family, your friends, whatever you got to do. Just don't try to bring other people down with you. And a lot of people don't give a shit. We've seen a lot of people in call, you know what I'm saying, that they just want to drag you down because their life sucks. And that's horrible. That's horrible. If I was miserable, I'm not going to be in car chaotic. I'm just going
I
to
feel you
leave.
on that
You know what I'm
one.
saying?
I've been saying I've been like taking my time in the lab, crafting up everything, getting everything in motion. But then I'm saying to myself this: put your best foot forward. That'll bring everybody to you in the long run. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't want to burn a bridge with somebody that's going to ultimately be a key factor for me to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like there are so many people. There's a lot of names I can mention out there, but at the same time, there are some people that really have to be more comfortable in how they built everything in the long run. Like, we're not going to sit up here and sugarcoat the narrative or anything of that nature because we trying to keep it blunt real to where these newcomers that's coming into this industry, Kevin Impact, need to know these things in the long run because it's better for them, for us as owners, for the creators that's out there. Even if you are a creator that's doing this game for attires and paid content, whatever the case may be, do what you have to do. Put your best foot forward.
Yeah. I mean, for the newcomers, like you said, I mean, they probably have to learn it the hard way. You know, that's just how it goes. You have to learn it the hard way. It's how it is in life. You learn things. But I think for some of the older folks who are aware of some of the stuff that goes on, don't enable that shit. Don't support that shit. Call shit out when something is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And you know it is. Don't enable it. Don't make excuses for it because you want to be this person's friend or you want to do this and that or this benefits you. Call shit out. I had
Like,
I had a lot of opportunities. Before you get to your next point, I've had a lot of people I've known and called. There's been opportunities for me to make money. Money was on the table. There was opportunities for different things. I put that down and pushed that to the side to tell the truth, to be honest about shit. You know what I mean? Because something was wrong, something was being done that was wrong, and I called it out, and that was not liked. That was not accepted. That was not accepted because it was wanted from me to be fake, and I can't work that way, man. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Everything has to be more upfront and talked about civil like we're doing, and it's pretty much going to fall in place at that.
Yeah.
But in that same narrative, I say this because there are a lot of things that I've witnessed in car communities, like the division, the not having everybody on one accord. I don't see how people can get through this whole outlook if you haven't built your roster with everybody you know is gonna work with you. And I don't, and that's something I'm kind of having an issue with myself is getting the right individuals in your show that's gonna gel with you.
It takes time, chaotic. You know, some of the people that are close to me and call, it's taken years for me to really see their colors. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk about VIP real quick, who's over at Titan Nation Alliance. I don't know if you're working with him on your EFET, but you know, he's
I don't even have a way to grab him for 25. That's the other thing.
okay. Well, me and him been friends for 15 years, and I decided to stop that because of disrespect that he, you know, kind of pushed my way. You know, what I mean, he was very disrespectful about some things that I'm not going to talk about, and I didn't appreciate it. You know, what I mean, I've given him 15 years of my life to build him as a top star, former JTV World Champion. I've given him a lot of my friendship, and it's like he didn't appreciate that shit. You know what I mean? So it takes time sometimes to get to know the right people. It takes years. Sometimes we don't have years in call and EFIT. Sometimes, you know, a lot of these shows are around for a little bit and then they kind of die off. So you have to take time to get to know people. And I say the same thing in a romantic relationship to men and women out there who might get this late, you know, watch the replay. Um, when you're going into any type of relationship, anything, you have to take your time to get to know that person because that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? In the case of, for
Exactly.
example, let's bring Ray back again. I don't know what he's going by these days, but you know, in JTV we call him Bert Lawson. As a character that I came up with. I gave him the character. Uh, you know, I thought I knew him, and I was wrong. You know what I mean? And it was the same thing for a lot of other people that I thought I knew and called, and I was completely wrong about them. People that I trusted that I wanted to help build their careers and stuff like that, and friendship, brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? There's people in
Hmm.
JTV that I've met in real life that I spent money on. That we've gone to strip clubs, we've hung out, we've gone to places and stuff like that. And to me, that means something. To them, it's just like no big deal. They're willing to throw that in 15 years, right, right into the toilet like nothing. And that is very telling. You guys have to study that type of shit. Learn from that. In your case, you know what I'm saying? I could see your frustration with KWF and giving people opportunities to come in and try to do shit and build them as a star because you could be building someone as a star to be the face of your company. Next thing you know, they quit out of nowhere. And then they don't
Or
even
they
tell
throw their
you.
true intentions like some of these instances that just took place recently, and I'm not even gonna get into them. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm enduring through everything.
Yeah,
It's frustrating at times, but also it can be a relief when you know that your creative spark can't be diminished by these individuals.
exactly. Exactly. That's not going to stop you. You know, their hatred is not going to stop you. At the end of the day, that's all it is. You know what I mean? They try to use you as a stepping stone, if you will. You know, that's how that shit usually goes. And I'm tired of being manipulated by a lot of people in car, but that's just how it goes. It's a risk that you take. You know what I mean? But once you identify the issue, it's time to just get out. That's how that goes. Once I identify,
It's like the old saying goes. It's a risk/reward situation. You don't know the risk you're gonna take until you see the reward hit you.
absolutely. Once I identify that there's an issue, I just put a stop to it and I move on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that whole, oh, we're gonna fight now and then in 4 months or a year we're gonna talk again. No, I got
Like,
enough
I'd rather
people.
nip it in the bud now.
That's it. That's it. Just move on. Be done with it. Like I don't got time for childish insubordination, man. You know what I mean?
I
So
feel you. That's what leads to everything else in the long run. Like people, I've noticed this pattern here, Kevin Impact, and I noticed this wholeheartedly. People will leech onto you just based off your success, but they've never been there through the struggle with you.
yeah, of course, I've been
And
there.
I feel like there are some things in life that just show you signs. I know you've seen them a bunch of times yourself, and it's like, this is how we move, this is how we operate. You can't
Yeah,
change nobody's perception on how they feel about things.
right. I agree.
We move forward. We got a goal. We want to. Everybody want to chase the bag, but it's something. I'll say this right here. Everybody wants that instant gratification, and I don't see why everybody wants instant gratification right now when you're trying to build yourself to be something.
Yeah,
Like, I know you gotten around people that had that instant gratification feel, and it's like, what are you getting at in the long run if you never worked hard to get to it?
yeah. It's a lot of people like that in call. They're very entitled. They feel like you owe them so much, and I mean, it's very dangerous for car owners because as a car owner, you're a target in a way. You know, anything happens with your promotion, you know, you're liable. And then with that comes also the understanding that there's going to be people that are going to use you sometimes. They're going to pretend to be your friend. They're going to act like they care about you, and it's none of that. You know what I mean? Then they justify their bullshit. So it is a scary world when you think about it. You know, you just got to take your time, and you really have to focus on who's about you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's really about you, that you could feel genuinely, you could feel in your heart that this person is down with you. That's who you have to be around. That's your people. That's your squad. You know what I mean? You can't.
Like,
You can't. Yeah, go ahead.
it's almost like this. You gotta build your circle of people that's gonna be like, say for example, your day ones, whether it
Yeah,
be friends, whether it be family, whether it be close associates that you had back in the day that was a key factor to help this over here. But at the same time, I'd sit here and say to myself, I know who my day ones was when I came in the car since 2K23. And I
right,
feel like that's my core group of people that's going to help me in the long run.
right.
Like when CJ introduced me to you, I was just like, yo, this man got a whole lot of knowledge and leadership that I could just soak in and take in all the things that was said and build it to my own advantage.
Yeah,
At the same time, I'm like, the love of wrestling when we was talking about it was just so there.
Mm.
Going back in the old school days of wrestling, ECW, whatever promotion it was, and it was like, I'm like, I can't believe I'm having this moment like this, and this literally showing volumes that
Mm.
I meet interesting people nowadays in life that don't have these same conversations nowadays.
Right.
So it's like you when you get those people in your life, cherish those moments because you
I
never know
agree.
when you may have those again.
I agree with that. I mean, our generation is once in a lifetime, dude. You know what I mean? Things are going to be very different now going forward into the future with the next generation. We're the last of a kind. And after we retire from car and stuff like that, I mean, car is going to go on. Car is definitely going to go on for many, many years. But
Mm-hmm.
once we get too old and we're retired and we can't game anymore and we can't wrestle anymore and we can't really do promos anymore, we having health issues and we're old and we're trying to figure shit out because we're living a new life. You get old, I mean, you live a new life. Now you went from being DJ Chaotic, cutting this promo and wrestling this match and holding this championship and playing this game, and you from the Attitude Era, and you used to like eating this, and you like this girl, and you like watching Pinky and the Brain, and you like all this shit, but now it changed. It's not that no more. Now it's I have to figure out how to walk. Oh, I have to figure out how to get out of bed in the morning. Oh, I got to take my meds. Oh, I got to go to my doctor's appointments. Oh, I can't see. Oh, I have to get new glasses. Oh, I got to go to an appointment from my leg. Oh, I got to, and it's just like your life changes. Oh my God, I'm growing white hair now. Now I got gray
It's
hair
like
coming out.
that new spark. You got to get used to it.
Absolutely. So once that time is upon us, man, God bless us that we get to see it and live it for a long time. It's like that's it. The next generation to call, like, hopefully they go back to these tapes. These are going to be the lost tapes, chaotic. This is treasure you're leaving behind for call. And when they find this,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully these kids are going to go back and go, yo, I want to be like Impact and Chaotic back in the day. Like when Chaotic had his podcast back in the day with Impact, and they'll talk about mad shit. I want to be like that. I want to speak my mind like those guys used to. I want to speak my mind like CJ Mondo. Be like those type of people. And um, these are the lost treasures because the next generation, the
Mm-hmm.
way they're being geared, the way they're being programmed and manipulated and brainwashed and educated that being fake is the new real and that you got to be a snake and all this shit. Like it's just brain rot that they putting into the community. We're not here to brain rot. We're not here to
Nah,
enable. You know what I mean? We're here to
'cause-
support. We're here showing love.
and here's the other thing about that I'm gonna feed off of from you with this. It's like this. I feel like with today's standard, the music, the way television programs are put out there nowadays, they're not feeding you the best insight like how it used to be back in our days, Kevin Impact, where we had shows with motivation, inspiration, get you out there to do something with your life. At the same time,
I agree.
we literally have music out here that's promoting the worst kind of things imaginable. And yet everybody is feeding into this new wave music, but whatever happened to the good old days of music that we used to, all the groups we used to like listening to, the groups that made an impact and made a message to people to not go down that same road that they went,
It's gone.
and it's gone.
It's not
Like you
there.
said,
That lecture is not there. That lesson is not there, and that is going to affect the next generation. And that's why we're here. I think
and
that's
the
why
crazy thing
God
about
got
it
us here.
is, I miss seeing the OGs on the block.
Oh hell
And
yeah!
everybody remember the OGs on the block.
It's not the same. The OGs on the block is not the same. Things is just different. You got the YNs now. You know
I
what I
know
mean?
it's like, and it's not the same in our generation. Like growing up in the '90s, but so inspirational. Like you never had all these issues, but over time it just started to diminish and got worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. You know,
Like it's like everything that we stand for now has to be validated in every message we send. And this is why I'm doing certain shows that literally bring out that insight. We're getting older, we're getting more wiser, more mature, more knowledgeable with things. Soak in all this knowledge while you can if you're an up and coming eFed owner or creator. It may benefit you in the long run.
hopefully,
Oh yeah.
hopefully this should be about the passion, the art, the culture, stuff like that, character building. Like when you go back in time, like if you go back to the '90s, and you could tell us when we're kids, hey, in the future, the wrestling games, there's going to be an online service, and there's going to be this thing called YouTube, to where you guys can put the wrestling shows and all that on the internet, and people can see it worldwide, and you can meet people online. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
future, it's going to be like that. In the future, there's going to be an app called Facebook, and you can message people, and you can get to know people, and you're going to be able to sign, like you're going to be able to know other kids that grew up to be adults, and you could put them on your wrestling show. Like if you would have told us that in the '90s, we would have went, oh my god, that's going to be the greatest thing in the world, you know.
Exactly.
And then now you drop in 2026, and it's just like everybody that has access to this gift that is call, a lot of people abuse it, man. They abuse the shit. You
Some
know, we
people don't take things for granted like they should be.
yeah, we should be having more fun in call than a lot of us are. You know what I'm saying? It
And
shouldn't
it
have to
feels
take.
like it soaks out, like this car industry does take its toll on most of us
Yeah,
nowadays with all the drama and all the negativity and toxicity that's going on. But at the
right.
same time, we sit here and we say to ourselves, how do we overcome these obstacles? This is how we do it.
Yeah,
We
with the
we, we
passion.
come on these podcasts and basically
Hmm.
vent our frustrations to the world that some of
Yep.
this shit needs to fucking stop.
Yep. Yep. And I agree with that. And that's how you do it. You vent, you put shit out there that needs to be out there, you call shit out, and you put your mind and your focus on what you got going on, your EFED, your show, your storylines, your matches. That's how you do it, creating your characters.
Because I feel like there's a lot of YouTubers out here, and I mean not just into the car industry, but also they put their real insight and knowledge for how to build the future of today. And I'm noticing a lot of things that's being said is kind of true, but they also said you got to minimize distractions, which some of these distractions out here is kind of intoxicating of it in itself.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not to say anything out of the ordinary, but it's more, hey, we gotta endure, we gotta stick together because it feels like every nationality can be united, but it's something about our nationality, Kevin Impact. We can't seem to unite together for a common cause, and I don't get why that is.
There's
Latinos can come together, Asians can come together, this nation over here, this nation over here, but it feels like when it comes down to my kind and our African heritage history, we don't seem to come together as a whole
it's
as
just
we need to be.
just something there, and I don't really know what it is. Just something there that people. I think people just been conditioned to be that way. You know.
I don't know if it's the hatred or the way that people were taught nowadays,
Yeah.
but it's like kind of like everybody's structure was different in their household. And I understand you probably had a different
Yeah.
structure in your household, just like mine.
Right.
And this person and this person over here. But at the same time, we kind of adapted from the household structure to how we wanted our households to be and how we wanted things to be moved in the foreseeable future.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
Because in every way, shape, or form, I see things while I'm outside or whatever the case may be. It's like we can't seem to get along or unite like we need to be.
Right.
But we can sure enough get along with X, Y, and Z person and have no issue. But at the same time, it's like, why can't we get, like, that's the age old question I want to know from people below is like, why can't we seem to get along with each other when it matters the most? I mean, outside of animosity and pent up frustrations and problems that happened in the past, I think over time, like you said, everything works out in the long run. Cooler heads can come together and prevail.
I think so, but something that's really sad about society is that it usually takes tragedy to bring us together. If you notice, because listen to what Chaotic is saying right now, and he's telling the truth that you know, you take our Afro ancestry, for example, us not being able to come together like, no matter how you may feel about Bad Bunny, for example, when Bad Bunny did the Super Bowl, there was some blacks who didn't like him and was like shitting on him and whatnot. And if anything, they should have been praising him, because we're coming from the same tree here. You know what I'm saying? We're Latinos and blacks. What I mean? We got to show love to each other for sure. What I mean? We got to show love to everybody. Everybody should, the whole world should show love to itself because, what I'm saying? We may
Facts.
all be different colors, but we all bleed the same red. All of us bleed the same red on the inside. All of us have internal organs on the inside, but most of us, some of us are missing a few of it. You know what I mean? And the point
Yeah.
I'm trying to make is that you send a UFO, you send an army of UFOs right now to this planet to attack us, right? And you get world peace. The same way you get world annihilation, destruction, you get world peace for just an instant, just a second, when everybody will come together because we have a common enemy. What I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that we eliminate that common enemy, we go right back to hating each other. And it's just like, why does it have to be that way? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just, I guess, been conditioned with that shit, to feel that way, to think that way. Like, I don't know this dude. I don't give a fuck about him. People don't want to deal with shit. And I can understand some of it, but I mean, it is a little pathetic. It's pretty pathetic.
It gets a little frustrating to me knowing these things is going on, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm trying to adapt and overcome these obstacles to show people that yo, if I can get along with an African brother, I can go get along with this white person. I can get along with this Latina or this Mexican or whatever the case may be. I can get along with these guys. At the same time, I'm trying to be that one way voice that's going to tell you, like, just like my brother said in one of his ceremonies, shout out to him. He's like this, like, you people want to think based off of color. At first, there was no we was all one color. At the same time, people seem to lose that focus that we are not one color, you know?
Right.
And it's not that people forgot about it. It's the way people's mindset was taught and trained, how they grew up, that the whole racism thing is just not like some people have it in them. It's so embedded in their DNA that this is how they live.
Right. Different families,
Different
different,
families, different
you know.
structures, different ways
Yeah.
that they were raised and built and taught. But at the same time, I'm like, I see why some people are trying to break through and try to get to know these things.
Right. I agree, but you are that voice, chaotic. You don't need to try to be. You already are. Your mission,
Mm-hmm.
you're here. All you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. Keep reaching the people that you're reaching. Not everybody's going to listen to you. Look at me. There's people that listen to me. They see what point I'm trying to get across, what message I'm trying to send. They say, I want to follow that. That dude is telling the truth. And there's people that feel that way about you. I feel that way about you. And that's the reason I'm here on the podcast, because I believe
Right.
in you. You know what I mean? I see better things in you from a lot of people that just rather judge you and hate on you when they don't even fucking know you. You know what I mean? Or they want to guilt you without not knowing. They want to assume and they want to lie about you. Shit you never did. Shit you never said that people saying you said that you did. Come on now. You know what I mean?
Right. And at
So
the same time, I'm saying to myself this: I brush past all the animosity and everything that was said nowadays because, in general, there's no excuse for me to sit here and judge another man based off of things that happened or things that was done. I'd
right.
rather look at the whole outlook and say to myself this man is going through the same struggle I am. At the same time, how can we long run?
I think there's levels depending on what that man did in his life. Some things shouldn't be justified. Not every man is the same. But in terms of the mentality of what you're trying to get at, that it's like, look, like I go through shit just like any other man. Yes, I agree with that. If that's how we're saying it, then yes, I agree with that part of it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Dan Rapture who's in the comments.
Yep.
Checking us
What
out,
up,
man.
Dan?
Smash that like button. Yeah.
Yep. And at the end of the day, it's just like I want to keep these things in perspective to say to myself this: no matter what we go through in life, we got to make sure the future of this whole structure stays intact. This is why I don't believe nothing that comes out of the news. I don't believe nothing that comes out of certain situations. At the same time, I'm sitting up here seeing what I'm seeing. And I'm saying to myself, ultimately, how do I change the structure and landscape of what's going on and get a better understanding of people?
I mean, we can't. We'll always have minimum impact on the structure because the structure by design is intended to be how it is.
Fact.
I'm being real with you. Think about it, because if it wasn't, I just feel like God would have already changed that. God is
Big fact.
allowing for it to be that way. It is intended for it to be this way. You know what I mean? So we can't do nothing to the structure. All you could do is control your
What we can
environment.
control.
Yeah, like whatever your environment is, what you can control. What is your environment? What does Kevin Impact mean by that? What I mean is your household, your call roster, your community on call, your friends that you have in your personal life, people that you have in your inner circle. That's your environment. You can control your environment. You can fire someone from KWF. You can remove someone from your life if they're not your friends. They don't care about you. They didn't pick you up when you needed a ride. They didn't lend you money when you needed it. They wasn't there for you. They didn't give a shit. Whether they're family or friends, whatever, you can control that if you want to eliminate that element. But
Mm-hmm.
but if you go and you try to go to someone that's ignorant and you tell them, yo, don't do this because this person's no good and they don't want to listen, that's it. You can't do nothing about it because it has to be up to them. It has to be their mindset, their decision. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody likes to
Bullseye.
eat the same shit. You know what I mean? Everybody like to eat different shit, different food types. You have different ethnicities, different religions, different sexualities in this world. There's diversity in
Exactly.
the world, and that diversity is always going to have a grip on this planet so long as it stands. This planet is not intended, according to science, it's not intended to stand forever. So what does that tell you? They already telling you that this is just a temporary phase because the
Mm-hmm.
planet has an expiration date. This is a temporary phase. This is a playground we visiting. because they building something else. Now think about it. What are they building? What are they working on? What could be next? You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
there's a lot of evidence that shows you more. One thing that I really like, animals. If you really want to amaze yourself and understand life, look at a beautiful cat, look at a beautiful dog, look at how a child is born, look at how a woman and a man
Uh-huh.
can come together and create life. There's more out there. So that diversity is always going to surround this planet so long as it stands. That's how humankind is. Humankind cannot get along. It will not get along unless you put a threat in front of it that will bring them together for them to eliminate. Think about
It
how,
seems like in most cases, the one thing that I've noticed that brings most people together, and I hate to say it this way, but I know we all kind of have these things. It's either family reunions or death in the family.
yeah, that's true.
Those two things are like kind of like the more vital two that normally brings everybody together, or a
Those are,
family barbecue.
since we're doing a wrestling podcast for you guys, that's the premium live event. Those are premium live events in family. You know, when there's food involved, money or death, and that's an unfortunate thing, but that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. Everybody's got issues. You know, it's a very unfortunate thing.
And as unfortunate as it is, we've kind of adapted to those things and the whole divide and conquer situation of the structure, and we kind of made our own impact. You made yours, I made mine. A lot of people in the car community made theirs. Shout out to those people that are doing something inspirational and motivational and helping these people be guided better, if I could say that. But at the same time, we don't lose sight or focus on these individuals as well, because we kind of got to mold these guys to be that piece that we need out here. We
Yeah,
don't have
and
enough voices to talk about things,
there
from
you
what I'm
go.
seeing.
There you go. And it's
And
important to keep in mind.
we gotta be that voice that's gonna make the changes, make the people see otherwise. Because I feel like, in my opinion, I'm doing this one thing for one reason. Not just the call community, but as a man in my stature, I hate seeing what's going on with the kids. I really hate what's going on with the kids nowadays, Kevin. In fact, and that's been on my mind for like the last few days. It's like, what are these towns, what are these cities doing for the children?
Yeah. You mean like the governors and whatnot, or what do you mean?
Like
Is it
mayors and governors
mayors?
and politicians nowadays, what are you doing to keep the children safe?
I mean, you know, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate a little bit. I think that there's politicians that come in with good intentions. You know that they want to do good. I just think that the system is so rigged and manipulated and broken that they're limited to what they can do. You know what I mean? Like look at me and you. Like um, me and you are here right now, two individuals that want the very best out of Carl. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Shendon in the comments. That guy and me have talked in great detail many times. Yo, can you imagine if everybody from JTV's past, if we just got along, where would we be? We might go viral. Anything could have happened. Could you imagine if your whole roster cared and they hit the like button and they supported and they watched and they was involved with you and all this other stuff? Could you imagine that world? Could you imagine where
Mm-hmm.
we would be? You know, we'd be making money. We'd be going viral. We probably have our own talk show. I could see me and you having our own. You know, you really gonna like me for this one, but having our own Arsenio Hall show. I could see
I
me and
think
you
you want
having. You know what I'm saying? I could see that. I could see that. And the thing is, it could come to fruition. It could, but it's so hard because the system is so rigged. All chaotic and impact are talking positive. They're trying to preach. They're trying to do all this positive shit. We ain't with all that. We don't care. You know, we want those guys to talk shit about people. Or we want them to do, like when we do something
Like,
negative, they care.
like
You know
they
what
want the negative side of things. They want them to say, "Oh, why ain't they talking about their kind being this and their kind
I'm saying?
being that?" And why ain't they talking about how these women are doing this and these women are doing that? And why ain't they talking about how their kids are acting? This, that, and like, no, it's not about none of that. If we can get past the ego factor, the ego trip of most people's mindsets, you can see something a lot more different if you just put your ego aside for a second.
Yeah, it's hard for people, but yeah, I agree with
And
you.
it's hard for people to put their ego aside because I can see
Right.
it now. Everybody feels like it's a competition out here. Everybody's competitive. Oh, what am I going to do to top this show? What am I going to do to top that show? Oh, this show is trash. This show is this. This show is that. Like, what are we doing? It
And
almost
call
feels like nobody wants to feel inspired by, okay, I'm feeling inspired by what JTV is doing. I'm feeling inspired by what TNA is doing. I'm feeling inspired by what this show is doing. At the
right.
same time, let's build off of something and put it into good use.
I agree. Instead of hating on it, you know.
Like instead of us having, oh, this person's mindset is old school and this person is just recently coming up, but he's old school. At the same time, I'm like to say, yo, set aside the difference of what you were taught old school wise. I'm setting aside what I got taught in my end, and let's bring something new, fresh, and innovative to the table that's going to better the car community.
They don't think like that, brother. That mentality, if it existed, is just not there. Maybe it will come back, but that's not everybody.
But it feels like everybody is so hell bent and stuck on what happened in the older time frame, like before I came in 2K23. Everybody's so adamantly on that whole 2K19, 18, or whatever they started on, and they want that type of call community versus they don't want this new innovative approach to bring everybody together. At
Nah,
the
man.
same time, I feel like 2K, they need to really put some better insight into their game if you're going to be surviving for the foreseeable future. Because I can see why most of the community is not liking what 2K26 is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how people feel about 26. I mean, I've heard from a couple of people having disappointment, game being broken and stuff like that. I don't mess with it a whole lot, but I mean, I'm trying to get into it step by step. But I mean, I think everybody has their opinions on
Like
2K26.
like your good friend Drasko just said. He said he just got here and he said 2K25 is superior to 26. I would agree with that 110%. No wonder why people are falling back to 25.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I think it depends what you're doing with the game. For me, I'm looking to have a kick out of 26 because I'm waiting for all the DLC to come out so I can start playing GM mode and I can start having my own
Wow.
shows. That's what I do.
Well, pretty much
That's
you're just waiting on these last few seasons to pop
yeah,
in and
pretty much.
let you unlock everything down accordingly. And then once you get everything unlocked,
Yep.
it's
I'm gonna
go
do my
time.
show. Yep. I'm gonna do my. I might start streaming them. I mean, it might be a good idea, but that's how I have fun with the game. You have to find a way to have fun with the game. If you don't
And
create,
it's almost like I do the same thing with it. I wait until like the NBA season to really get my full fun off because I like the injuries are hindering rosters and this over here and this over here.
yeah,
So it's like I wait till after the end of the season, like how with NBA and Madden, I just do a whole Madden season sometimes.
yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. I mean, that's unfortunate. I mean, the 2K makes you fucking wait to the end of all the DLC for you to put everybody in GM mode because if you start a GM mode, you can't use DLC that just came out because you started the season. I think that's dumb. But
Hmm.
that's just how that goes. You have to. It's sad that you have to make the fun in the 2K games. You can't have too much fun with it on its own.
And
It doesn't.
then here's the other thing that's the crazy part. Outside of the fun aspect of this whole thing, it feels like a lot of people they literally don't have too much creative process or stroke that they want to create in their own opinion. I say
Yeah,
this: keep being in the lab and working at it, because you never know how good you might get at things if you just look. Maybe go watch a couple of YouTube videos about it. Like I'm still learning the process of making titles. I'm still learning the process of trying to put good attire together, especially if I'm using certain pieces. Like I got to learn these things. If anything, it ain't gonna learn itself.
I agree.
Like stay. Like I don't care if you are in the car community, music producer, whatever. Stay tuned. Stay home to your craft. I wholeheartedly agree with that 110%. Stay home to your craft because you never know what might come to you in the long run. You may get a big money deal and be like, yo, I'm in. Like, but once you get your foot in the door, who you gonna bring with you?
I mean, anything is possible. Hard work pays off. We know that.
I feel you on that one. That's why I say, like, once you get your foot in the door, like, if Kevin Impact foot was in the door, creative wise, to be a part of the games, who is Kevin Impact gonna bring with him? That's gonna stand along. That's gonna build that foundation.
I mean, if it was up to me, I mean, if it's up to me with the game, I mean, passion's got to come first, and I'm bringing people with me who are passionate about it, not people that just want to make money. They're looking for a job. You
I
know, I
feel you
mean,
on that one.
yeah,
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like, we gotta have a structure and foundation as a community. What guidelines and regulations we want to have moving forward? Because I feel like you brought a couple guidelines and regulations. I bought a couple. CJ bought a couple. But it's like at the same time, there's other people outside of that structure that don't want to live up to those core foundations what we stood on. Like, okay, if say for example, I'm living up to the blacklist, you're living up to the blacklist, TJ's living up to the blacklist, but we have this other EFED on it that's not living up to the blacklist, what is the point of you having these individuals in your show in the first place?
I agree with that. I'm on the same team with that. I agree.
Because if we built the foundation for our shows, everybody's blacklisted names should be validated across the board. Not one show should have to say, "Oh, I'm breaking this to do this just so I could go off my way of thinking." Nah. If you're in the partnership or if you in a valid partnership in this EFED industry, appreciate what these other owners are bringing to the table because they're saving you from bringing these names in.
I
Am I
agree with
wrong for
that.
that?
I agree with you on that. You read it. You reading out of my book. You reading
Like
out of my book with that.
it's almost like you got to take a page out of certain people's playbooks to
Yeah,
get a full blown understanding. You just can't have your playbook and say, okay, everybody else gonna follow in suit with your playbook. Nah. At the same time, you gotta adapt to what's being delivered. There was a reason why you left chats because ultimately you ain't see that your vision was insightful to that owner.
yeah,
At the same time, you try to tell said owner this, that, and the third, but if they don't want to listen, that's on them.
yeah. I agree.
Like my mama and daddy used to tell me, a hard head make a soft ass.
Yeah, and I just want to clear my name real quick, despite the fact that the word controlling and stuff like that was being thrown around with my name by ex people. Um, you know, that's justification by their own means. You know what I mean? They want to justify their own things and whatnot. You know, I'm not here to control anybody. I'm here to tell you, look, if we're on the Titanic and we're about to hit that fucking iceberg, I'm on the same Titanic with you. That shit goes down, we go down. I'm here to tell you, look, we're gonna hit the iceberg. We need to divert because we're gonna hit the iceberg. If you're gonna
I
be
feel you.
ignorant, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be ignorant and you're gonna be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? You're telling me what to do. I want to do what I want, and you're gonna continue to drive us into smashing into that Titanic or the iceberg. Then excuse me if I jump
But
off
I'll
that bitch.
deviate over this way.
You see what I'm
You see what I'm
saying?
saying?
So
So
that's just my
that's
point.
just my point.
At the same time, man, this is why I value so much resources that I've been given in the long run because not too many people have that same mindset and insight as others.
Right.
Right.
Like, this is why the car community is so going downhill
Yeah,
nowadays.
I agree.
This is why I see so many oddball things going on in the car community that just don't make no fucking sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta see the shows that are doing the right things and putting it in perspective.
I mean, a lot of people in call that doing stuff like that, they know. It's not that they. I mean, it goes back to what you said. Some people are brainwashed. I guess they can't see shit. They don't get it. They can't fall from the tree. But there's a lot of people who do get it, and they know. They just play along because they want to push their own agenda and do their own thing. You know what I mean? And that is very dangerous. It's very dangerous when you know someone is doing something wrong and that you shouldn't do something, and you look for excuses to justify that and push that through instead of going, wait a minute, this is not right. I need to leave this alone and I need to stick with the formula that works. You know what I mean? When you do that and you follow the right formula, you always get good results every time. It's like Breaking Bad, Walter White. What happened with
Mm-hmm.
Walter White? You followed the right formula and you get what? What was it, like 98%? Was his formula? His product was 98%, -2 to be perfect. You know what I mean? And I think he perfected it after he followed his formula. He crafted it and perfected it. But when you deviate from that formula, what do you get? You get sabotage. You get the wrong
Mm-hmm.
results. You know what I'm saying? You get rubbish. You know what I mean? So that's it's very easy, chaotic. It's very simple, man. It's just people make it hard. It's what it is. People want to make it hard.
Wow. That's a good thing, Mark. And he just mentioned it in the comments, Kevin Impact.
What do we got? I know you got some
He
questions
said,
in the
I
comments.
just let AW win a few minutes ago. After how I was asked to unblock two individuals I didn't want to unblock. Wow.
There you
See,
go.
at the end of the day, you gotta, like, some of these owners need to understand this one thing. And I mean, it's one thing in particular that I'm gonna say this right now. If you're not gonna follow structure by what other owners are doing, you're gonna lose so much interest because of X, Y, and Z that you are trying to deviate from what we structured this whole thing to be.
The last thing you want to do if you own a promotion and call is replace your brothers and people that's actually there for you, that believe in you and showing love and keeping positive, for people that are coming to destroy your promotion. That I feel
It's,
bad. It
it's like
hurts me.
this. It's almost like this. When I see JTV, I see a brotherhood. I see a united fact. I see like more than just a car show. It's a brotherhood. It's like a united faction over there. No, everybody gets along, crack jokes, this, that, and third, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's more. It's what y'all got outside of that makes the most sense. It's like if your chat is not united outside of the differences in the car community, then you don't have no structure. I feel
Absolutely.
like everybody's E-Fed chat should be like a family. They should be able to come there to voice their opinion, talk about whatever movie they want to talk about, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, having the same feeling that others have. Treat others how they want to be treated. You know, you can't have everything. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But that's the way that this has been going nowadays, Kevin. In fact, and it's crazy how I see it.
Yeah, and I agree with all that. You know, but
It's
a lot.
kind of crazy.
Uh,
Go for it.
no, I was just gonna say, it goes back to a lot of stuff we already talked about. A lot of people they just don't give a shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's
And it's
a
like,
lot of people in this shit for drama. They're in call for drama. I'm not in call for drama. I don't believe you're in call for drama.
and
We're in here. To,
it's like this. I say this to myself. When I look at the car industry, the car community, I look at it as a getaway from your everyday struggle
there
that
you
you
go.
go through in life.
Bingo. You nailed
If
it.
it's not a getaway from everyday struggle in life, and you can't find an equal and common person in call that's not thinking the same way, then something is wrong.
Yeah,
There is
man.
some
I,
things that you
by
have
that
to value and appreciate in
by that
life.
s- by that same token, man. I mean, in all honesty, cancel Kevin Impact if you want. There's a lot of mentally ill motherfuckers in cars. What it is, you know, you got a lot
I
of
feel
people in
like
call.
most of these e-feds nowadays, and I'm gonna put it exactly like I see it, Kevin Impact, and like you said it in the long run, favoritism is critical in most of these e-feds.
Yeah,
They have their favorites. They don't want to break away from them because of whatever toxicity or drama that they've had in call. They just don't want to break away from these guys.
ass kissing, opportunity, benefits. You do this for me. You know, all this other stuff. What do I gain from this? You know, what I mean, it's a lot of that comes into it. You know, the Call United shit that we're doing right now. This is not my first rodeo. I've tried this in the past, chaotic. I've tried it in the past with many promotions, and it worked for a bit. I got people subscribers and ratings and all kinds of shit, and brought them talent, and the communities grew. And we was doing good for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of years. It's just that egos rear their ugly heads, and it just turned out the way it turned out. People was jealous of JTV. People was jealous that we was having success and stuff like that.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, so that they wanted that. You know, Craig Mack was one of those guys from BCW. You know, just adding up all my contacts on some fucking weird shit. Talking to Gorilla Cruz, going, "Oh, you know, I'm here for you, brother," and Gorilla Cruz telling me he's here for me, brother. I don't even know who he is, and he's
And
over here
then
kissing my ass.
Mark Bannon said it the best way possible in the chat. He said Ricky needs to understand that he asked me to unblock Craig and Ray. As soon as I left, they went right back on the block list.
Yeah,
I'm just saying to myself, I understand why people have their personal difference feelings towards these individuals, and I get it. You can't change what you see in these people, but at the same time, there's some things that can't be fixable. Like you said, these these owners are trying so desperately to get things fixed and all that. You can't fix them over time. Some things have to be in unison to everybody's accord.
and some things just can't be fixed and shouldn't be fixed because people are not going to change. They change only for a little bit, and then they revert back to their old ways. So
They switch up.
there's no reason to take chances. That's something that needs to be understood by Ricky and a lot of other people. since we're mentioning Ricky now, you know. So that's
I'm
that.
looking like this. I mean, I respect and value Ricky's wholehearted opinion with everything that he's saying. But
Yeah,
at the same time, I'm confused at where did this new fond insight change just so happen to come in play at the same time.
yeah. He
You was
switched
in a
up.
partnership, you was in a brotherhood, you was pretty much validated as one of the select few that stood on the same principles and goals that we had.
Yep, that's all true. I used to respect him too, and I used to
Like,
get
where
along with him.
did we deviate from the goal?
Right.
If we all here for the same thing, you should be in your mindset saying to yourself, well, dang, if Kevin Impact can't repair a difference with two individuals at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and hold him to whatever the case may be with these individuals. But at the same time, I'm uniting that this is why we say there's some things that some people do that others do better. If you can't recruit well for the roster, then you got to find somebody that's going to recruit well.
Well, let's say this right here. Let's set this example. Imagine somebody that Ricky has real problems with and call that hit me up and want to work with JTV, and I make it well known that I have interest in it. But Ricky educates me and educates us that like he's had history with these guys and they had issues. Why would I have any interest in bringing those guys into JTV if they had issues with Ricky? If I respect Ricky and I believe in our brotherhood, I'm not going to bring those guys in. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Someone who caused some issues with CJ that I'm not going to mention, okay? I'm educated that this individual is causing drama and that you guys did a podcast. Somebody, CJ, did a podcast not too long ago addressing all of this. I got a friend request from this person. And I could have been a two face and I could have worked with this person and I could have brought this person in if they have interest, made an offer. I didn't do that. I blocked this individual because of our brotherhood, because of my respect to CJ, and because
Mm-hmm.
I understand that I'm being told that this person is toxic. I've seen this name brought up two, three times now in my lifetime as someone who's toxic, who's a scam account, someone who's like a catfish or something like that. So why would I take that chance, chaotic? Why would I do
Oh, I
that?
know. And just
Why?
like I have fell for the most biggest thing ever, and I'm sitting up here saying to myself, I'm like, who is this? Who is this chick right here? Who is this? Who is this? The next thing I know, she starts major drama in the industry, and I just said to myself, something was not right. It's like you're not saying your age, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and it felt like when you came to me that day and you told me like, yo, this person here, are they cool? Are they are who they say they are? I'm like, I kind of took it off word of mouth at first, but then I said to myself, over time, it just started to reveal itself,
Right.
the true nature, that person's intentions, what they wanted to be in the locker room. When
Yeah.
I noticed, like, I looked over her page, didn't have that many friends, wasn't as inspirational, creative wise, but at the same time, I'm like, you told me a certain age, but then you come out just recently saying what's your actual age. And if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Impact, we don't accept anybody in the car community that's under 18 years old.
I stopped doing it. I used to do it in like the SVR days, and I'm like, it never works. It always brings drama. So
And
it's
I
just
feel
not
like,
a
and
good
I
thing.
said this after going back in my previous run in the car community and dealing with individuals that was under 18 years old. I felt like you should have knew from jump. Never bring an under 18-year-old kid into an E-Fed with grown adults.
Yeah. It don't match too
It
well.
don't add up. It don't mix.
Yeah.
Like the conversations are gonna feel different.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation should always be about the game and the EFED. You know what I mean? If it's going to be
At the end of the day, keeping
socializing,
personal differences out out of the structure. But I feel like this is the one thing that kills Carl as well. People stay in character way too fucking long.
yeah, I couldn't agree with that. There's a lot of people who tend to be toxic with it when they're in character and weird. I agree.
At the same time, I'm like, I just want to build the structure, get around the right group of individuals, and just say to myself, let's see how my roster grows with a core group of individuals who have the same passion and respect for Call.
Yeah.
But you can't do that sometimes because a lot of people out here like to say that, oh, your version of your character is almost similar to mine. This, that, and the third. Change your entrance. Change your name. This, like, why do we
Yeah.
have to do all these things in the first place if we had a set image and gimmick that we wanted? But it's
Right.
too many. It's like it's almost like we're in a copycat league. People
I
see
hear you.
your car on the big screen, and they want to copy and mimic everything you do.
Oh, all the time. That shit happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah. You got that boy Mark going off in the comments.
Oh,
That's what's up.
yeah,
Shout out,
Mark already know what time it is.
shout out to
The
Mark
J
Bennett.
problem. Yep, facts. I had to put her on block mode and literally say, okay, here, had your fun.
Right.
Like it's enough of you. Like you set up here. You did fake accounts of a friend of mine, of a well good friend of mine. You
Yeah.
started spreading lies about him. You manipulated the system, and then you had another E-Fed on there who was protecting y'all at the same time. And I'm like, all this just added up, and I said to myself, this ain't what we wanted for Call. This is bad for Call in the long run.
Right.
And unfortunately, you can't like owners are playing favoritism to people on their roster, but they don't want to listen to the overall aspect of what's going on with that person. But you want to keep them on the roster. Like, kudos to you. Have fun. But at the same time, see if it brings you anybody new.
I mean, you got to also mention that we also have quite a few pedophiles in call too that they don't mind that type of shit. It's a good time for them when they can get underage people in call. You know what I mean? So they
And,
don't
and,
care.
and here's the thing that's the kicker part to me that really bothers me is, and I know you may agree with me on this to an extent because I feel like this is one thing. I like the fact of having these chats out here, but I see the reason why majority of the real E-Feds use Discord and they do all these background checks. But at the same time, if you're gonna have an underage kid in the chat, at least let the other people know who this underage kid is and mark him in by name that he's underage.
I mean, yeah, you could do.
You know what I mean by that. I'm just giving an
Yeah,
insight to how I would identify these people in the first place because everybody has their call name, cool, but we don't know what their age is.
right. I mean, I think that's a positive way to go about it. I mean, another thing is just don't have minors in your EFID. You know what I mean? Just
Agree.
just just get everybody that's 18 and up and you be straight. You know what I'm saying? If a minor wants to join, I've had plenty of minors that try to come to JTV. Some stood in the past and some made it to become adults. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else that kind of came along after, for me, it was just like not really interested. You know what I mean? Because it's just like Give it a few years. You know, hit me up in like 2, 3 years when you're like 18, then we'll talk, kind of thing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because when you bring kids in, it could get really toxic. You know,
You know,
really,
really,
you know,
you know,
it's a
it's
sticky
a stick.
situation. It's a gray area. You know, it's the best way I can
Oh
put
yeah,
it.
most definitely.
So
And
that's just
like,
how it
cause I
goes.
feel like this, I say this in general because how this community has been looking nowadays, it's not the same feel as how it may have been in the time you came in and the whole good days scenario, all that. But at the same time, we're building everything in the long run.
I think it's been the same since I started. For me, and my own experience has always been the same. It's just that the what it doesn't change is that you still have toxic people, and you have to get away from those people. You can't enable them. You can't make excuses for them. You have to expose them, you have to block them, and you have to move away from that. And people have to be able to do the same thing. You know, it's not a control thing,
Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen, watching, listening to this. It is not a control thing. Chaotic, DJ Chaotic, Kevin Impact, CJ Mondo, people like us, people who stand for the right thing. It's not a control thing. It's simply put, we're not going to put up with the bullshit. We talk about stuff, we expose it, we call it out, and individuals don't like that because it compromises their agenda. Does that make sense? It ruins their plans for the malicious evil deeds that they intend to pursue. That's what they want to do with their lives. You know what I'm saying? There's people in call, like me and Chaotic. We try to do our promos, our podcasts, our wrestling shows, our championships. You know, Chaotic is known to do a lot of graphic design. You know what I'm saying? Fixing his guy to look like him, making other characters that look cool. Mark Benton is in the comments. That's another guy that likes to create cars. He'll make Ken Shamrock every year and all this other stuff. You know, people like me like to do shows and storylines and stuff. But there's people in call that they're not there for that. They're there because they want to meet a young girl that's underage or a young boy that's underage, or they want to be able to boss somebody around when they own the EFED promotion. You know what I mean? Or they want power that, and you try to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you want power, right? Let's talk about that for a moment. What happens when that person gains power? What happens when that person is getting 2,000, 3,000 views on YouTube? And all this stuff is happening for them. They got the biggest roster. They got all this attention. All these things is happening for them, right? What happens then when you have all of that? What happens? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to satisfy your need, your new needs? How are you going to satisfy that? You know what I'm saying? Because for me, my thing is, yeah, I want JTV to do well, and I think JTV is doing very well. I'm happy that we're almost going to hit 700 subscribers and shit like that. And I'm happy with the views, and I'm happy that people get to have fun with our community. But what is the end goal? What will satisfy me? What will satisfy me is for me to be able to retire, stick around for a few more years, maybe, and to see success, for us to grow and stuff like that. Like, that's my end goal. That's what I want. And then to be able to walk away and say, hey, I had a hell of a run. Thank everybody. And it's done. That's my end goal. And then after that, I'm an old man. God bless me. And I move on to other things, whether it be, I don't know, feeding birds or whatever the fuck else it is that I'm going to do next in my next stage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what is the end goal for these people, man? What happens then?
It's
You know what
like,
I'm saying?
here's the thing that I say right here, and I at this, and I'm at this. We all have a vision. What is your start and end vision that's going to change the landscape of everything you're trying to build? Whether it's in call, whether it's IRL stuff, you name it. Even if you continue the podcast aspect over time,
Right.
we got to see what's the end all be all that's going to continue forward after you quit this stuff.
Right.
Who are you going to pass the torch to?
Right.
Like, that's all it is. Like, sometimes you got to see which person you're going to see is going to be that passing of the torch person.
But here's the
Kevin
crazy
Impact can
part.
say, okay, here, I'm passing the torch to CJ Mundo to carry on the legacy. CJ can pass it on to me. You name it, whoever the case may be, so on and so forth. That passing the torch is critical in most cases.
And I hear that, but here's the crazy part about that. We're in a situation where we don't even have to pass the torch. The torch gets passed for us because once we
Right.
retire and we're done, I mean, of course, I could say, hey, I'm retiring. I'm passing the torch to Chaotic and CJ kind of thing. I could say that I could do that and it could be a good thing. But at the end of the day, you guys have to retire too one day. And when you retire, you could pass the torch to somebody and that lineage may continue, sure. But at the same time, one day all of us are going to be retired. And with that
Mm-hmm.
comes what? What happens when that happens? Like any baseball team, Yankees, or any football team, your heroes go away. All these guys go away, and a new team comes in and picks up the ball and the bat, and they start to play. So
Mm-hmm.
when we put our ball and our baseball bat down and we walk away and we're not wearing our sunglasses anymore and we're not raising hell and drinking beer and we're not telling people to suck it and we're not being, chaotic and we're not making an impact. What happens is the next generation comes along, picks up the pieces we left on that floor, and they create their own foundation. The same playground that we played on chaotic, when we laid this whole foundation, new kids come to that playground and they play and we go on. You know what I mean? So the torch is being passed regardless. It's just you hope that the torch is being passed on to a better generation, and things is just looking crazy. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
but what's really sad about it though is, and this is the truth, and you're going to agree with me. There's not going to be another Kevin Impact and another DJ Khaled. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
There can
That's right.
be
We
different people. We're one of a kind. We're one of a
it's like
kind.
this. It's that saying that went on in wrestling that Taker, the Undertaker said, "We're the last of a dying breed.
That's it. And it's
We are the
true.
last of a dying breed."
That's
And
it.
when we go, we just hope our thoughts and things that we've mentioned in these podcasts holds volumes with other people.
I hope so. And I hope they learn from it. And I hope they call bullshit out. And I hope they make things better. Better arenas,
And
better superstars, better
it's like
stories.
at the end of the day, I'm gonna just say it like we always do, Kevin Impact. We stand on business.
Yeah.
Some people we just got to see people standing on business.
Yeah.
Cut the bullshit. Cut the toxicity out of your e-fed or whatever is going on in your life.
Once you hear
Cut that.
excuses, once you hear excuses from someone, that's it. You know they're full of shit. That
Like
manifests and reveals itself to you in time. You know what
like
I'm
at
saying?
the end of the day, you if you show your true intentions in these chats, that shows in the long run.
That's it. And
Like
that's how it
this
goes.
is why watching the chats is kind of critical, but at the same time, you get your breaks as well.
Right. Yep.
But in this whole narrative of things, I mean, we just going. If nobody don't have any more questions, we're going to kind of wrap it up right in these moments. It's like in your closing statement here, Kevin Impact.
Yeah.
What do you feel would be your best message to these newcomers, and what would you say would be the do's and don'ts of everything that shouldn't be done in the car community?
I mean, again, I don't fizzle around when it comes to the things that I say. I've said this before on some of you guys' podcasts. I think I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. When it comes to car, the things you should do, the things you shouldn't do. Okay, you can't. You got to be able to be an adult and cut through all the bullshit. When people are full of shit, you have to be able to, after you try several times, you got to close that door. And sometimes you got to permanently close it. You can't just make excuses. You can't just let 4 years go by and it's like, oh, let's talk again. If they've done it more than enough times, I would say three times, treat it like baseball. You want me to give you something interesting? Okay, I'll give you something interesting right here. Treat it like baseball. Three strikes, you're out. If
Mm-hmm.
someone fucks up with you more than 3 times, like Ray did with me and others, that's it. There's nothing to fix. There's no relationship to repair. You've had multiple chances. I've given you ample chances to be able to repair the issues that we had, and you refuse. You fix it for a bit, and then you want to be friends again and fix things right. It's not going to work out. I don't want to do it. You have to be able to read that like a PlayStation 2 disc and to be able to carry that through. Cut that shit out, move forward, carry out what you have to do, and stay within the circle of the people that work with you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't talk about a certain individual here today, like as much as I thought we were going to. I thought we were going to address a certain topic. We didn't, but a certain individual that I'm thinking about that recently left one of the groups that we was in for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how you do it. I
And
don't.
if
I
this
don't.
individual is what I'm thinking of, not saying Ray Everett, but also are we referring to Billy Ray Dog?
Nah, I'm not talking about no Billy Red Dog. I'm talking about Ricky. I'm talking
Oh,
about Ricky Armstrong is who I'm talking about.
and
You know.
that's the whole. And I really was about to say this right offhand before we close out. I mean, your thoughts with how Ricky is moving nowadays, and I mean, it's crazy to me right now. What's going on? I mean, I just left the chat because I wanted to let this drama thing die down for right now, but it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Well, here's my thing. If you want to ask me about the Ricky stuff, I'll talk about it. But I'm not going to talk about it unless you ask me about it directly. But in closing,
Yeah,
to
and
answer what you said
I
before,
want your honest thought on it because
okay,
okay, that's
I'm gonna give
kind
you.
of I'm gonna give you
I'm
yeah.
gonna give you the sauce. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
give you
give
the
you the
main event.
sauce. I'm gonna give you the
I'm gonna
main
give you
event.
the Kevin
I'm gonna
Impact
give you
stuff.
the
I'm gonna give you the good stuff. But before I get to that, to answer your first question, the only reason I brought Ricky up is because Ricky had no business leaving the group. That's our brotherhood group. You know what I mean? I surround myself with
facts.
people that
I
I
agree with
feel
you
are my
100%.
I surround myself with people that are like my brothers. I feel that with you. I feel it with CJ. I feel it with Daniel from WWU. Me and him don't talk every day, but we have a good relationship. We have a partnership now, and we get along and we respect each other. He talks good to me. He was watching the last JTV, showing me mad love, telling me I'm a genius and all this stuff. And to me, that melts my heart. I'm like, yo, I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, you know. And Wade from uh, H
HHOW.
H O W Wade, we get along. Me and him get along. You know what I'm saying? So I get along with a lot of people there. That's the place where we talk as the presidents of our prospective promotions. You know what I'm saying? That's the world nation headquarters. That's the world
Yeah,
nation headquarters, chaotic. You're in
because
there, CJ's in there,
I said this, and I said this wholeheartedly, and I was talking with CJ Mundo about this, and I said this, something like this, like, yo, when you leave in chats, especially in the Call United group, it feels like you spitting on the bosses.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're spitting
That's
on
exactly.
Godfathers. We all
That's
kings
exactly.
in that group.
But it didn't make any sense. And now I'm going to answer your second question, and I'm going to address the Ricky Armstrong stuff. You know what I mean? In terms of the Ricky Armstrong stuff, this is how I feel. I'm gonna give you the bread and butter of this shit. So um I don't know how Ricky feels entirely. Ricky didn't talk to me personally, told me how he felt. I can only assume how he may feel. I'm assuming he's not a fan that, I've spoken my mind about a lot of different things, man, that I saw that I didn't like on his part. One thing about Ricky that I liked was Ricky was cool. So I thought, and I got along with Ricky. I didn't know I was going to get along with Ricky. I know Ricky for years, not personally. We never worked together. I just know him because I seen him. Ricky been around a long time in call. I've seen Ricky's community. I've seen his postings on social media for years when we wasn't friends. I mean, I think we were friends on social media, but we didn't talk like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I know Ricky for a long time. I've seen him and I've always respected Ricky because me and Ricky never had a problem. Now, something I didn't know was Ricky was in JTV. I didn't know that. He was in JTV at one point, I guess, in one of the chats. And I don't know if he was getting ready to wrestle or he was just there in the community. I don't know. sometimes it be like that. There's been so many people in JTV. Sometimes it goes over my head, and I don't get to know you. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Ricky was in JTV. I didn't know that. So when Ricky brought shit like that up and started throwing that at me like I was in JTV, and he started name dropping, I'm like, oh shit! Like he's telling the truth. He's not bullshit. He knows about Craig and everybody. So I'm like, okay, so that made me closer to him, and I feel like we got along. And I felt like it felt different because something did happen that I'm going to talk about. I tried at one point in time to introduce Ricky to my JTV World Heavyweight Champion Shendon. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Up to that point, I was all right with Ricky. You know, Ricky wasn't like jumping on no bandwagon of sponsorship, partnership with JTV. You talked about it. CJ talked about it. HHOW may have talked about it with me. Daniel talked about it with me, like mad people. And I'm like, yeah, I mess with all these guys because these guys are for real. But Ricky never really talked about that. Ricky was like, no, 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 no. AHOW or whatever he be doing. He got like different companies, right? I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think nothing of it because why would I? There's no reason for me to think nothing of it. I just mind my business. Say, okay, I'm gonna be cool with him. He be cool with me. No problem. Fast forward, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. But fast forward, when I try to introduce him to Shendon, I'm like, listen, brother, you know, this is the JTV World Heavyweight Champion Shendon. I did that as friendship, and I also did that. Hey, maybe I don't know, maybe you want to have him on your show in the future, something like that. You never know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was, oh yeah, yeah, just tell him I said what up. And I was like, huh, you know what I'm saying? I felt like that was kind of a letdown for me. It was kind of disrespectful because it's like, yo, like if he would have introduced me to his world champion, like if he would have told me, yo, KD is my world champion, I'd be like, oh, if I didn't know KD, I would have been, oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. You know what I'm saying? I'm honored
Mm-hmm.
to meet you. But he didn't do that. He's, oh, yeah, yeah, just telling myself what up. I'm like, because we trying to be on some classy shit. I was trying to be classy.
Right.
So I took that a certain way. It wasn't that deep. It wasn't that personal. But I'm like, I started peeping game with him. You know what I mean? And then another thing I noticed about him that I didn't like that I had to call out some time ago is like he always picking on KD, always picking on KD, always picking on KD. Oh, Herbert the pervert this and all that other shit he be doing with him. And then he's picking on Ryan. I'm like, yeah, at what point in time do you kind of knock it off? Because you kind of being a bit of a bully now. You know what I'm saying?
And then I said this after, I mean, I looked through and I was seeing that, and I'm saying to myself, like, yo, I wouldn't do that to my worst roster. That these are your roster members, for crying out loud. You're supposed
Right.
to have more of a connection with them more than belittling them. At the
Yeah.
same time, you don't know what these people are going through. You don't know what type of scenarios they don't like or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And at the same time, that you don't want to pick into their conscience to really see what's making them feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
At
And
the same time, it's like you know how to hit them, but at the same time, you kind of back off a little bit and let it relax.
yeah. I
You
mean,
you
I mean,
pick your moments to throw your jabs in there.
I thought the shit was funny at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie about that. I laughed. I thought the shit was funny. He started doing the Herbert to Pervert AIs with KD and the baby lotion, all this shit. The shit was funny at first. I enjoyed it. I was with it at first. But after
Right.
a while, when he kept doing it and doing it and doing it, I'm like, wait a
It
minute
started
now.
to
Like,
show you a pattern of how his whole reaction was.
right. He just kept going with that. And I felt the same way you just described. I felt like, wait a minute. Does he not think maybe KD is a little fucking tired of him doing the Herbert the Pervert shit and Ryan Storm is tired of it? Like, doesn't he think that type of shit? Because I would get tired of it after a while.
And then at the
I'd be
same
annoyed.
time, in the back of my mind, you don't know if this person's saying to themselves, keep on doing what you're doing, Ricky. You're gonna end up losing me more than you gain somebody. I may be
Yeah,
a champion in your. If I'm a champion in your company, you should be able to treat your champions with more respect and honor than, let's just say, your standard Joe Blow that don't have a championship in your roster.
that man said Joe Blow. That was funny. I mean, we saw in the comments earlier that Mark Bennett said he left. Mark Bennett
Yeah.
quit, and then Dan Rapture, I guess, left one of the promotions. I don't know where he left, but it was because of
Dan
the
left
ratio.
when the chat was united. I saw that, and I saw that Mark came in after the fact of Ray, and whatever came out of nowhere. And I'm saying like this: you can't hold people that don't. If they got certain people blocked, you can't hold these individuals accountable to your standard that you want in your chat. If they blocked, they are blocked.
Yeah, that's
There
it.
you
That's
go. You can't help and I hate to put it this way, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You can't be a Captain Save a hole.
I mean that's how he wants to play his game if he's trying to go to Mark and tell him to unblock Craig and whoever else. You know what I mean? Craig, he said Craig and Billy or something. So I don't agree with that. I think that that's controlling. Since I'm being called controlling, I think Ricky's controlling. He's controlling by trying to get Mark to unblock these people. That's controlling. You know what I mean? So
And
to
it's
end,
like this.
yeah,
It's like you can put the whole shot in perspective right now if you wanted to. You can go into the JTV chat right now and say this out of nowhere.
yeah,
JTV guys, remove yourself from X, Y, and Z chat. He's being mighty suspicious.
yeah,
Watch me. And at the same time, we'll sit there and say, look, take that message for granted and be like, yo, maybe he is acting suspicious. Maybe you do got to fall back a little bit and let's see how he changed this whole perception.
yeah.
Because in most cases, you got to ask yourself this: do you want to stick around the roster that's going to end up being what you want it to be, or are you going to stand up for a roster that's ultimately thinking the same goal as everybody else? We want a united front. We want a roster with no toxicity. We want no cancers in the locker room. At the same time, if you're bringing cancers in the locker room, how does that resonate with the rest of your roster?
Absolutely. And if I may get to my next point, Pastor Herbert the Pervert shit, like I just kept noticing how he was moving, things he was doing, you know what I'm saying? And then when he brought the recent thing that led to what it led to, him leaving this chat, the Call United chat, our private chat, um, it was the Billy Harrington thing, the Billy Ray Dog thing. You know what I mean? I had
Right.
my issues with Billy Ray Dog. Billy Ray Dog disrespected JTV in a major way. There's no reason for us to make peace or nothing like that. Now I'm putting this out in public so that he can hear it and Ricky can hear
Mm-hmm.
it and the whole world can hear this.
The
Billy,
facts are about to be stated.
okay, here it comes. Kevin Impact statement. Billy Ray Dog, I accept your apology to me for your fuck ups in the past. I accept your apology. I do accept it, and I respect you and appreciate the fact that you apologize to me. But I don't want to work with you. I don't want to be friends with you, and I don't want to be in any group with you. Okay. I was invited to a party last year in Dallas. You know, I've been in Dallas at least twice now, and I plan to go back again. I'm not done going to Dallas just yet. In which I'm very sure that if I would have went to that party and me and Billy Ray Dog would have seen each other in Dallas, it wasn't going to be a hug, a conversation, and being friends. Because I really want to smash his fucking nose in, is what I really want. You know what I mean?
And
Now
like
that's
Mark Bannon just said in the comment section, Billy is still talking shit about you.
Yeah, I don't care if he's talking shit about me. I don't care about that. You know, I still accept, even with him talking shit about me, I accept his apology. His apology is on record that he said that about me. And I accept that and I appreciate that. But I don't want to get along with him. He is a fucking piece of dog shit. And he's always going to be that. He is a conniving fucking snake who did what he did. And I'm not going to go into detail because we don't have to go into detail.
No,
Maybe,
we don't.
maybe, maybe on the next episode we will go into detail. Maybe.
Maybe
But
maybe part two of the reality
yeah,
check we will dive into detail.
if y'all want me to come back and talk about Billy Ray Dog and tell that story on the next episode, smash that like button and let us know in the comments.
Exactly.
Okay. But for now, we're not gonna put it on this episode. You got to watch the second part. So no, he's a piece of shit. So Ricky wanted to push the whole, oh, we're trying to get along with everybody, and this whole, oh, I want to unite. We want to unite everybody. We can't unite everybody, Ricky. We can't do that. You can't be everybody's friend. Everybody is not your friend. That is not a car lesson. That is a life lesson. You learn that in life, that everybody's not your fucking friend. In your classroom, think about it. And I'm gonna have Chaotic going mad crazy when I say this next part because he knows it's true. He'll be like, yo, you're right about that. Think about when you was in school. Think about
Mm-hmm.
think about your whole classroom, right? You wasn't friends with your whole classroom. You couldn't be friends with everybody in your classroom because it would be impossible because not everybody's your friend.
And
It's
at the number one rule to this whole thing, and I agree with what you're saying there wholeheartedly, Kevin Impact. You got a lot of fucking enemies that's how that'll see you out of spite for the things you're doing for the community, and look at you and be like, "Why are you doing all these nice things? Why are you being this? Why are you being that?" Where's the
absolutely,
man I met? Where's the person I know a long time ago that didn't give a fuck about X, Y, and Z?
absolutely, and I agree with that. And in continuing my point, the Billy thing comes into the story, and it's like he's sending screenshots not to me. He's sending them to like the AWN chat, whatever that promotion that he has. He's sending it there, and I'm in there, and Billy's in there, and I make it understood. Yo, this guy's got to go. This guy's got to go.
And it's like this. And here's my thing about it right here. If you say something out of nowhere and you are an overseer of the chat, you're not associated with the roster or anything, but you're like an overseer, a fan. In that perspective, you're supposed to be able to say, "Oh, at the expense of Kevin Impact, Billy, deuces, can't have you here."
Right. Well, I mean, to be fair to Ricky and to defend Ricky in this perspective, you know,
But
Ricky took the DJ Chaotic approach and he changed the narrative. he, I'm gonna use your catchphrase. He changed the narrative because instead of arguing with me, he went and removed Billy. We were having an issue with, I don't remember who the other person was, and I don't want to lie about Ricky or say something that's not true. I can't remember, but I focus on the Billy thing. We were talking about someone else. I think it was that person that was trolling CJ or something like that. You know who I'm
it was
talking
the Jay Way situation.
about. Okay, he name dropped, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to avoid it, but he said it. Okay, so I think that's what it was, but Billy was still being talked about. So I said he got to go. And when I said that, I didn't say it in a way like, "Oh, you got to do it because I said." I'm saying it like, "Yo, we got a problem. This guy got to get out of here. He got to go." You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
you was in that uncomfortable feel.
Yeah. So Ricky gets rid of him. Ricky kicks him out. Next thing I know, instead of us moving on, Ricky's making stories and Ricky's enabling, and Ricky is, oh no, because he's apologetic and he's saying sorry and all this other stuff. Look at the screenshot. He's trying to make peace with you, Kevin Impact, all this stuff, not, completely undermining whatever situation we might have. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Can you imagine catching beef on the street with somebody and your friend or somebody is like forcing you, like, nah, you got to make peace with this person because God says or Jesus says, forgive all.
And
Listen,
then this is the thing that kind of killed me in that same perspective, Kevin Impact, is
yeah,
this. The whole bringing up the Bible scenario and all that. I'm like this, like okay, not everybody is a Christian goer. Not everybody believes in everything that the Bible says. People do value and appreciate the word that's in there, but at the same time, everybody handles their situations differently. You know what I mean? It's like it's like if we had an issue in the chat that was going on, at least you would come to me outside of the said chat and be like, "Yo, can you do me a favor? Remove X, Y, and Z out the chat for me." I mean, I'm feeling mighty uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about the situation. I'll explain to you this, that, and the third over here. But at the
yeah.
same time, could you do me this favor and remove this person out for the safety of myself and whoever you have on your roster? Cool. I
See,
would
I like
handle
that.
that with no problem.
I like that. And I think that that's a healthy approach, but that doesn't work for everybody because when you do that,
But
they tend
everybody
to,
don't think that same way.
they're going to flip it on you and say that that's controlling.
But at
They're
the
going to say
same
that's
time, I'll be
controlling.
like this. It's like if everybody can accept me for who I am and my beliefs and my standards and practices on what I've been taught doing, at least I'm doing something that tells somebody, yo, maybe it's the way that you handled the situation that made that person kind of look at you a different way than they should have had. Because there are certain situations like when I'm like, Ricky, I respect you wholeheartedly, but at the same time when you left all those chats, it felt like you did a huge spit in the face to everybody that stood with you.
Well, I'm gonna get to that part. I'm gonna get to that part when he leaves. You know what I'm saying? I'm going through the story step by
Right,
step.
right, right. Go
You
for
know,
it.
so you giving him your juicy side. I'm giving him my juicy side. We're going to talk about that when he left. But Billy's out of the chat, and at this point, I'm looking at Ricky like Ricky's a real dude. Ricky took out Billy Ray Dog out the chat. Ricky, no question. He didn't ask no questions. He took him out. I'm like, okay, Ricky's one of us. Ricky's somebody that is actually like on board. And then when he started questioning and he started going, he's trying to apologize. Oh, I was still I was still messing with Ricky at that time. I was still with him because I'm like, okay, I respect him. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to bring people together. So I'm like, this is positive what he's trying to do. But he just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't understand that Billy's not someone you do that with. He's not that type of guy. He's fake. You know what I mean? Just like Craig and a lot of those other people. You know what I'm saying? And I actually don't have a problem with Billy. I don't. It's just I don't want to associate with him. Same with Ray. Don't have a problem with Ray. Just don't want to associate with him. I don't even have a problem with Ricky. I have no problem with Ricky. I respect Ricky, what Ricky's done for Carl and all this. I respect all of Ricky's accomplishments and all the stuff like that. But, the Billy thing was pushed a little bit. It was pushed, and then it's just like, okay, now you're kind of enabling this dude and making excuses and all this other stuff. You're talking about all like you're forcing me. You're being controlling. You're forcing me to be his friend now. And this is
Mm-hmm.
not going to work because I know how fake he is. Maybe he doesn't know how fake he is, but I know how fake he is, so I'm not going to do it. And then fast forward, the Ray thing comes into it, and this is what really kicked everybody that off that mountain. This was what really messed everything up for the team and didn't take it to the finals. The Ray thing comes into it, all making excuses for Ray and stuff like that. Oh no, because Ray works for me and he does stuff for me. Okay, I understand that. But what makes you look bad, Ricky, is the fact, not opinion, that you had, even if it was small, you still had a bit of an understanding that this individual had issues with me, with Chaotic, with CJ Mondo, and several others that were involved with us, and several people that's linked back to us through JTV. We've had issues. So if we had issues and you were aware that we had issues, why would you dive into that? Why would you want a piece of that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
People that had issues with my people, I always close all that out. I don't want to work with them, associate with them, nothing. But it makes you look greedy and bad that like you want to get involved with them. Okay. Ricky said, well, he doesn't have a problem with me. So it's like it's basically with us. Okay, I understand.
That's the like when he said that line, Kevin. I was like, yo, he may not have problems with you, but if you take 2 seconds and step back and look at the scenario at hand, you would obviously see that Kevin Impact has a problem with Ray. He don't have a problem with you, Ricky. He has a problem with Ray. At the same time, you got to understand that some things are not able to be fixed automatically, like you said. You
Yeah.
can't patch
There,
up differences for the sake of your tech. At
there's
some
not
times, you got to adapt to the way that things are going to be and let these people ride the way they're going to ride.
we had made it well understood enough time in the chats that we had an issue. Now, I don't have an issue with Ray. My issue with Ray is just several different things, but it's not something that I
As
can call an
big as
issue.
the Billy situation.
Nah, Billy's not linked to Ray. It's more
No, I
concerning
would say
because
it's not as big as what you went through with Billy. That's what I'm saying. Like the two of
yeah,
them are
I mean,
two different
no.
different situations.
Billy was just a big mouth, and Billy did some two-faced snake fake shit. You know,
Ah,
it isn't even that crazy with me and Billy. But because I know a few things about him, what he did, that's the reason why I don't want to associate with him. That's all that is. But going back to the Ray thing, is just like, okay, so you undermining the fact that all of us, not just me, all of us have had a bit of an issue with Ray, or people link back to Ray. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because I still remember when you and I were at meetings with Nixon, and KD was there and CJ was there, and it was the Ray thing and people that Ray was involved with. So Ricky knows that we've had issues with Ray. Ricky knows that there's been drama, and yet he chooses to situate his business, his everyday functionality of his car promotion, to work with Ray. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. That makes you look like you're selling us out. It makes you look fake. It makes you look like you're greedy, like you want what Ray got, like you desperate for success. I mean, let me point
Mm.
something else out. You going, let me point something else out to you. Ricky nonstop is in the chat posting how he got 5,000 views, 3,000 views, 200,000 views, some shit. Oh, we got these subscribers. Every time you don't see me doing that. We're about to hit 700. I'm proud of it, but you don't see me doing it. I'm
It's like
proud. You see
the
what I'm saying?
difference with that is okay. You're celebrating your moments, Ricky, while people like myself or you is putting up here saying, "Oh, we got this many subscribers," but guess what? We're pushing on.
Right.
We're staying focused. We're not diving into the number aspect.
Right. But it makes him seem a little desperate. It makes him seem like he really wants to be successful in call and stuff like that. But he already has been successful. So what's with the constant spamming? You know, what's with the constant screenshots? Oh, we got 5,000 views. I'm happy for him. I've always been happy for him. He'll put that shit up and I'll heart it, or I'll hit thumbs up whenever I see it. You know what I'm saying? That's been me. If I see it, I react to it. I
Mike
screenshot
just
it.
put the topic right at hand. He said Ricky gloating too much.
I guess so, but I'm gonna continue my story.
Yeah, go for it.
So after the Ray thing comes into perspective, everybody stepping in. I seen you, I seen CJ talking, I saw KD talk, I saw mad people in the chat when we went to TNA, because when he was in there, I said I wanted to be respectful. Now I'll give credit to Ray. Ray was kind enough. Look, I used to love Ray like a brother. I cared about Ray. I still care about Ray. I can say that and I can admit to it because I know I believe in that. But I can't do it with Ray anymore. Okay. Ray decided to go to work back with Craig Mack from BCW. Craig Mack is aware that Trey Jeter was in support of a pedophile that I'm not going to name, a pedophile who admitted to it, admitted to the shit.
Mm.
Trey Jeter is in support of this individual, which was also public. This is public information. This is not my opinion. Craig Mack knew about it as well, because I had a conversation with someone that I cannot mention who that person was. You know what I mean? So it's alleged. I can't confirm it. We don't know if it's true or not because I'm alleging it. But I spoke to someone who met with me and someone else, and this person told me about how Craig was nervous and was telling Trey Jeter and his people, yo, Kevin Impact, he might, this could ruin my career. This gets out that I'm over here, supporting pedophiles and this and that, pedophile supporters and this and that. You know what I mean? So Craig was aware of what was going on. Ray is aware of that information as well and chose to go back to this guy because we stopped working with Ray. That's the main issue that I have with Ray. That's mainly why Ray was just fired from JTV Wrestling. That's what happened. Ray is gone. You know what I'm saying? And now there's another individual who I just lost respect for, who I'm not going to mention here because he's a former friend of mine, who decided to go back to Ray. You know what I'm saying? And that's pathetic. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of people who are willing to focus on their career and ignore the fact that their career is being controlled and driven by pedophiles or pedophile supporters. And that shit is not cool. It's not cool at all. Okay. So fast forward past that point, Ricky, I don't think knows that. I can't put that on Ricky. I don't think he knows that. But if he listens to this, he needs to know that. He has to know that. That's how Ray gets down. Ray doesn't mind that. I don't know if Ray is working for Craig anymore. I don't know that. From my understanding, it was a final run thing, but you still went back to him. And that's why I ended communications with Ray and relationship and partnership. That's what happened. It wasn't even call related. It was a real life situation because Ray want to get down with these pedophile supporters. Okay. So going to the bread and butter of this shit to close this out. Um, I don't think Ricky knows that. I really, really believe Ricky does not know that. But I have mentioned some of these stuff several times. And this is where Ricky's going to look bad. I have said countless times about how Craig is supporting pedophile supporters and whatnot. I've said this around Ricky, and Ricky just told Mark. Mark confirmed here in the comments that he told Mark to unblock Craig.
Yeah, I was in the chat when all
You
this
see that,
went
right?
down. When all that went down
Right.
with Mark.
You see that, right? That's a problem. That now makes Ricky a pile of shit because he's now in support of pedophile supporters by doing that. If he's
And
involved with
then
Craig.
Mark just put in the chat just recently. Now Craig is in AWN. That's another reason why he left.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about all of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't care if Craig is there, if he is here. You know, Ricky's with him there. What I don't care about none of that. All that shit is garbage. You know what I'm saying? My concern is just the fact that I thought Ricky was one of us. I thought he was a real one, and then in Ricky's mind, given the information that he's had or he's been privy to thus far, in Ricky's mind, he doesn't go, wait a minute, my brothers are warning me about danger. I'm going to block Ray and I'm going to block Billy and I'm going to focus on my guys and my business because I don't want my business to be tainted. No, he goes, oh, what I have to do, the positive thing that I have to do because I feel like I'm being controlled is, oh, I have to leave the United Call chat. So in your mind, Ricky, you thought you put together this concept of leaving your brothers that are trying to do positive shit for Carl for an individual that's in support of pedophiles, supporter, and other individuals who are into the same shit, and you want to work with these people because Ray does shit for you, he works for you. That's fucking dumb. That is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. So I didn't get too mad, to be honest with you. I really didn't give a damn, and I still don't really care about it. But I just thought it was very unfortunate. I thought it was very unfortunate that he left, and my attitude is just like we just need to move on. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully after this, unless he's got something to say or he wants to come on here, whatever he wants to do, I don't want to talk about him anymore. You know, so this is going to be it on the
I
Ricky
feel
stuff.
you on that note.
That's where I'm at. Unless I have a reason to talk about it again, I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? So
Let it be known once and keep it moving.
that's where I'm at. That's how I feel about it. I think it's very dumb. It doesn't make any sense, and it just makes him look fake, and it makes him look like he's a sellout. You know, that's how he made himself look, and the fact that he's seemingly involved with Craig, according to Mark now, who confirmed it,
Mm-hmm.
that makes him an enabler for supporting pedophiles. That makes him an enabler because he wants to be involved with Craig and Ray. You know what I'm saying? Who they don't give a shit, bro. For them, it's about cause, it's about views, it's about success, it's about subscribers. They don't care. They'll keep a Trey Jeter around and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't work that way. It's not cool. It's not a good thing. You know what I mean?
I agree 110% with that. Like, if you're gonna stand on business and be a brotherhood with us that has the same goal and vision, it's no need of you leaving the chat because of certain things that went on or certain things that was left unsaid because drama happens every once in a while. But it's like if you got a brotherhood of people that's standing with you and not against you, why would you leave a chat that ultimately decides everything in the long run and then walk away from partnerships.
It just doesn't make sense, bro. It doesn't make sense. And I also want to say this because he tried to make it seem like, oh, he doesn't want to be like in a controlled environment or nothing like that. Ricky, nobody tried to control you. Okay. I'm someone, I can't speak for Chaotic and everybody else that's involved with us, but I'll speak for myself. I never told you nothing about you got to do this, you got to do that. Nobody's trying to control you. I certainly did not try to control you. I tried to warn you of many dangers. And then also, I try to go about, helping you understand the situation, but you don't give a fuck. You don't want to understand. You just want to enable, you want to be ignorant, and you want to work with who you want to work with. And you want to try to control the situation and manipulate it to where it's like, oh, I'm being controlled and stuff like that. You were never controlled by any of us, bro. We told you could do what you want, and that's how it went. We
Like
we were
we are all bosses here, Ricky, and don't take this the wrong way. I respect everything that you say, everything that you do, but at the same time, I just want to see all of us succeed and grow as a united front. Because at the same time, we have too many outside forces trying to dip their heads into the cookie jar that shouldn't be in there.
that's how it goes. You know what I mean? But nobody definitely tried to control you. You manipulated the situation to make it
to make
seem
it
that way.
seem that way.
That's all that
That's all that
happened.
happened.
That's what it
That's what
was.
it.
You want to enable and you want to be friends with who you want to be friends with, and you're doing it with the wrong people, bro. And you're gonna learn the hard way. He tried to say, "Oh, maybe I had problems with Ray, maybe we had problems with Ray, but he didn't." Okay, I get that, Ricky. I understand that, but at the same time, aren't we supposed to be your brothers? If we're your peoples and we're your supporters and we're your unit, if anything, you should be siding with your unit and listening to heeding warnings. You should heed warnings instead of going, oh well, he has no problem with me. We get along, so I'm going to keep working with him. No, that mentality is cancer for Carl. That's a cancerous mentality. You know what I'm saying? And then you go and learn on your own. Go ahead and test Ray. Go ahead and test Ray, Ricky. Give it some time, test him out, and see if he won't switch up on you. The moment that you become a threat to that man, it's a problem. We have him on video. He told me that he was jealous of JTV, and I didn't understand. I'm like, how? I've always thought Ray was amazing. I still think Ray's amazing. He's one of the greatest minds in CAW. That man is an icon, just like Ricky. Both of them are icons of CAW, but now they're tainted. They're tainted because of their shitty decision making. You know what I'm saying? They ruined their legacy now with the decisions that they make. They don't mean anything anymore with the decisions that they make. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. You know what I mean? He wants to do what he wants to do. Nobody tried to control him. He just wants to create, on my DJ Chaotic, he wants to change the narrative. You know what I mean? To tell the story his way. It's not about changing the narrative, Ricky. It's about what is the truth. The truth is Ray doesn't mind enabling pedophile supporters just like Craig Mack, and obviously neither do you. Knowing the facts presented at hand, you still want to work with these guys. So you're as bad as they are, bro. You're as bad as they are. And from Kevin Impact to you to everybody, that is the final statement right there. Top that.
Right. And here's the thing, and I'm just gonna leave it at that, and then I'm gonna close this out. Sometimes in life, we can't be guilty by association with people that do these things. And I don't want to be associated with it, nor do I want to be around it. But at the same time, I try to be generous and curiosity and try to work with these individuals. But at the same time, I know that these things are going on, Kevin Impact.
Right.
It's like I can't forgive, nor can I forget.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you gotta let these people be on their own.
Yeah. That's what makes it bad. If you know about it, that makes you as bad. It's one thing if you didn't know. That's why I protected Ricky at first. I said, oh, I don't think Ricky knows about the whole thing with Craig and Trey and all that other stuff. But when we've talked about it and he's heard me talk about the Craig situation, and yeah, here you are talking with him, that means that makes sense why you're involved with Ray because you crooked. You went rogue on us, is what you did. And I don't understand why, because I believe we all been very good to Ricky. And I have mad
Mm-hmm.
respect for Ricky. I wanted Ricky to come on one of the podcasts. You know what I'm saying? And I watched Ricky's show and I gave him advice. I told him, yo, if you press the left stick, it turns off the display. Like that, since you do EFED simulation and you watch matches, it looks better. So I've done my part for AHW.
Mm-hmm.
I've done my part just like you and CJ and all of us. We've been there. And I was going to continue doing that. It's just that stuff he's done and the way he talked to Shannon when we met, instead of showing him a little bit more respect, it put me off. So I kind of backed off. But I respect Ricky for popping up when he popped up on the last JTV show and stuff like that. I'm always going to respect it and appreciate it. But this decision that was made, this was a bad decision, Ricky. This was a horrible decision. And I want you to keep it. I want you to stay with it. I don't want you to listen to this and go, you know what? These are my brothers. They're right. I'm going to change up. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't have that mentality. If he made
At the end of the day, Kevin
he got to
Impact,
stay
I'll
with
say it like this. You got to stand on business now.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to stand on business now.
Yeah. So we could pretty much leave it
There's
at that.
no taking back or whatever the case may be. You got to stand on business. But I know your decisions are what you want in your show. Cool. We don't judge. We don't discriminate or anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you stand on something you believe in, stand on it.
That's it. He made his decision. So just leave it at that. I have nothing else to add to that. You know
and after that, and on that note, we're going to close out this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe. All that. Go subscribe to JTV. All links will be provided when the video ends. And we'll catch you on the next Reality Check podcast.